And a game just went final in Norman, Oklahoma. Nico Iamaleava and the Vols snapped their streak on the road. 28 straight road losses versus top 15 opponents. That is over. Connects here with Dante Thornton, 66-yard scoring strike, end of the first quarter. And Tennessee goes on to win this one 25-15. And Oklahoma, welcome to the SEC. A defensive statement by Tennessee as well in this game. They held Oklahoma to 36 rushing yards. Jackson Arnold, the starter for the Sooners, 7-16, 54 yards, 3 turnovers. And Tennessee goes on the road, wins by 10 as they stay perfect, 4-0. CBS Sports HQ is built by the Home Depot. How doers get more done, and Tennessee getting it done on the road in Norman, Oklahoma. And really, Emory, Josh Heupel's defense makes a statement.
Yeah, you talk about a defense for Oklahoma and coming into this ball game, how will they do? But Tennessee had the better defense, and they proved it down in, down out, how they stopped the run, how they did a great job in getting off the field. They turned the ball over. They harassed the quarterback so much to where they had to make a quarterback change. So this was more about Tennessee's defense than anything. And I thought the defense, to me, again, 5.8 yards a carry, 34 rushing yards, 1.1 yards a carry, 5.8 yards a pass attempt. So Tennessee's defensive line set the tone, and their defense as a whole was a story out of this ball game.
Nico Iamaleava didn't have to do much, right? I mean, he didn't have like a fantastic game. He had the 1 touchdown throw, the long one that we showed to Dante Thornton. But outside of that, not really pressed to do much because they also leaned on the run game.
And that's what was the most important about this game. 50 rush attempts for Tennessee. When's the last time we could say that about a Tennessee Volunteers offense in a spread air raid offense? You probably can't, because this team showed tremendous balance. They were efficient. I thought Nico Iamaleava did a great job just taking what the defense gave him. He threw when he saw something open. He ran when he saw an opportunity. He kept the offense ahead of the chain. So it was a great complementary team win for Tennessee, and that's why I thought this was arguably their best game of the season. This was a show-me game for a lot of folks, myself included, and they showed me something today. This is one of the best teams in all of college football.
Well, earlier this season, Josh Heupel, who was returning to Oklahoma, he led OU to the 2000 National Championship. An alum there is celebrated, and he comes back and brings his Tennessee team in. And they make a statement, and he said earlier this season, the standard at Tennessee is to be elite on defense. This is the home of Reggie White, Al Wilson, Eric Berry. It's the standard. And they held that standard on this night. When you look at the teams on their schedule coming up, they got Alabama at home. They got Georgia. This is where they're going to be tested in the 4th season of Josh Heupel's tenure here in Knoxville. This is what he's preparing this team for, those big matchups, because if they can win those games, we're talking about, and they're already a national championship contender, but we're talking about they're in that conversation where we start talking about them as being a legit contender.
And you also got to add all SEC defensive lineman Kerry Bailey, who was my defensive line coach in college.
There we go.
Also part of that team in the early 1990s. But yeah, this defense, and what stood out to me about this schedule is that we saw the offensive line and defensive line get up to speed. And this is where you're going to have your opportunities to knock out a Georgia, to knock out an Alabama, to take care of business against a Kentucky who's very physical. This is where they're going to have to win. The O-line, D-line, that has always been the question when you are looking at a team that wants to play fast, that wants to spread the field. But Tennessee is built well on both sides of the line of scrimmage. They get pressure. They stop the run. They block well in the run game. They protect their quarterback also. So this team has a different feel and a different look because of what they've done, the work they've put in along the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
See what you did there. You said they're built well. Well, guess what? Time now for the Doers Playbook, built by the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Breaking how a team's game plan leads to their success. Which phase of the game was critical to the victory? It's pretty simple. Emory, it's the defense.
The defensive line in particular for what they were able to do. 1.1 yards a carry, 5.8 yards a pass attempt, 3 out of 14 on 3rd down. Talk about getting the job done, building a wall up front against this offense that had a lot of momentum coming into this ball game. They were the better defense. They were the better defensive line. You know you're playing great defense when you force them to make a quarterback change. So shout out to Tennessee's defensive line for doing the job today out there in Norman, Oklahoma.
Tennessee gets it done. That's how doers get more done on the road as they snap a losing streak against top 15 opponents. It had been 28 in a row, and they snap that streak as you take a look at what they have done. Best point differential through the first 4 games in the last 100 seasons. Look at this, plus 188 as they improve to 4-0. That's the best point differential through 4 games since 1915, Emory.
Kerry Bailey was on that 1990s defense. Shout out to Coach Bailey.
Yeah. Shout out to Josh Heupel going on the road and getting a big W.
Shout out to Chuck Smith, too.